Hi everyone, my name is Catherine Honeycutt, the Communications Specialist for BBB, and I'm excited to welcome you to our BBB Business Builders webinar featuring Sean Hassan from Jan Pro Cleaning Systems to discuss how to properly clean your place of business. Without further delay, we'll dive into today's webinar, but I just want to let everyone know that if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to drop them in the questions box and we'll be sure to get to them. So Sean, I'll pass it off to you to get us started.
All right, thank you, Catherine. Well, hi everyone out there. I want to thank you for spending the next few moments with me and the BBB. Big thank you to the BBB for being instrumental in developing a lot of these pandemic and outbreak related webinars. They've been amazing. I encourage you all to watch as many as you can. So I want to give a little bit of an introduction. I'm once again Sean Hassan. I've been living in North Carolina now for 15 years. I'm originally from San Jose, California, the Bay Area, or Silicon Valley, as most people know. I came out here to help run a family business, a Jan Pro territory franchise with my father about a year out of college. Did not know I was going to be in the cleaning business. And up until recently, not very many people would have called it glorious. What I can say because of the pandemic is that right now, professional cleaning is getting more attention and recognition than ever. So today, I've been invited to speak about the coronavirus and how it's impacted the workplace, and more importantly, what you can do to prepare as we get closer and closer to that day where we all return to the workplace. So the first thing I want to talk about is how to prevent the virus from spreading. And the number one way to do that is to wash your hands. The number one transmitter of the COVID-19 or coronavirus is human-to-human contact. Yes, it can be airborne as well, but handshakes, hugs, less than 6 feet apart, that's a big way and probably the most frequent way it is being transmitted. Secondarily, cleaning your office and place of business is another great way to prevent the coronavirus, and mainly focusing on what we call common touch areas or doorknobs, telephones. In fact, most people don't realize this, but the cell phone is probably one of the biggest harborers and transmitters of the coronavirus, as well as many other viruses. But most importantly, you want to give your staff, your customers, your coworkers peace of mind knowing that if you come to work, this place is being cleaned and disinfected regularly. Airborne transmission, to fight that, the number one way we could fight that is by engaging in disinfecting and cleaning of air returns. HVAC systems are a big transmitter of airborne infections and diseases. And I know the most cost-effective way to do that is with electrostatic spraying or applying disinfectant through a electrostatic sprayer, which we can touch on at the end. One of the first things I want to talk about is how often do you need to clean your workplace? Well, right now, I would recommend that you get it professionally cleaned or clean it as a professional would if you want to do it yourself, no less than once a week. And even if you get your facility serviced once a week by a professional company such as Jan Pro or one of the many other companies out there, you still have to take responsibility to make sure that the facility is being cleaned in between visits. Ultimately, I can come into your office, I can disinfect your telephone, I can wipe down your light switch, I can clean your toilet, but after I'm done, as soon as somebody sits down on that, there is a potential infection that could be there. So it's important to understand that getting an office professionally cleaned based on the needs of your facility, based on the traffic, based on how many people are utilizing your facility, it's important to get that in line. So what is required to clean? Well, first off, I want to talk about cleaning in two parts. The first has to do with the removal of dirt and grime. Surfactants is a word I'm going to throw out there, is a big deal in the cleaning industry. So what is a surfactant? Well, a surfactant is a compound that's added to a chemical, or excuse me, added to a water usually, that in turn creates a spray. So in this case, or soap. In this case, there are two types of surfactants. There are surfactants with cleaners and surfactants with disinfectants. A surfactant with a cleaner is important because what that surfactant does is when it's applied to grime, such as dirt or dust, it is penetrating that dirt or grime and allowing the stain or the soil to be removed by simply taking a cloth, like a paper towel, going over it and wiping it. So you might have heard a lot of people say, oh, when I mop my floor, I only want to use water to mop my floor. Well, the issue with that is without the surfactant, it's not going to penetrate that soil to then in turn lift it. The only time I recommend using water solely to clean is if it's in steam. If it's in steam, well, the heat from that steam is going to allow it to be lifted. Disinfectants are another item that uses surfactants, and the reason why disinfectants like to have surfactants added is because it allows a surface to stay wet. And if there's anything I've learned about disinfectants just in my time being in this business, the longer a disinfectant is visibly wet on a surface, the greater likelihood it is going to have to kill bacteria, viruses, and other forms of germs. So dwell time is a big deal with the types of disinfectants out there, and there are numerous. It's important that you understand what these different disinfectants do and how much dwell time is required for them. So for example, one of the biggest disinfectants we use in the cleaning industry is what's called a quaternary ammonium compound, or what we call quats for short. So quats are what's most common for housekeeping and commercial cleaning companies to use, also for hospitals to use as well. Quats are popular because they are the best surfactant disinfecting agent as far as wet time. They can sit on a surface wet for 5 minutes, 10 minutes in a lot of cases, and not dry up. So it's that I can see it, my surface is wet, and I know that that disinfectant's on there and it's killing whatever's on there. Other forms of disinfectants that are popular are chlorine-based disinfectants. So we have the most popular chlorine, which is cleaner, which is sodium hypochlorite or bleach. So think of Clorox. Everybody loves Clorox. And the one thing I can tell you about Clorox is it is awesome at disinfecting bacteria and virus. But that's the only thing it's awesome at. Well, it's also awesome at making things white. So if you have a white t-shirt, great. But Clorox or a bleach will corrode, it will damage, it will discolor, and that's why we stay away from that in the cleaning industry for the most part, as far as us professional cleaning companies. Chlorine dioxide is another form of chlorine, and I'm a big fan of chlorine dioxide in the sense that it is, compared to the quats I talked about earlier, not as toxic, not as harmful. Yes, there is still the ability to slightly discolor over time. It's not as strong as your Clorox. And some chlorine dioxides actually can kill bacteria and virus quicker than quats. Alcohol is also a very popular disinfectant. Just look at hand sanitizers. 60 to 70% concentration of alcohol. That's what we're being told by the CDC to use in our sanitizers, or to make sure they have in our sanitizers. They're great, but the issue with alcohol-based sanitizers is they don't do a good job of cleaning. In fact, there are really no surfactants at all in alcohol-based sanitizers or disinfectants. They also evaporate very quickly. So, they're not going to sit on a surface, and they're going to start to evaporate pretty much as soon as they make contact with that surface. Peroxides are another form of popular disinfectants. You have your hydrogen peroxide-based disinfectants. A lot of cleaning companies have figured out a way, or commercial chemical manufacturers have figured out a way to take these hydrogen peroxides, add an agent to make them last longer so they don't evaporate. If you think to, when you have a cut on your skin, you take some hydrogen peroxide. As soon as you put that hydrogen peroxide on your cut, it starts to bubble and evaporate. So these stable hydrogen peroxide cleaners are very popular. Also, they're pretty good at lifting stains and dirt as well. In some cases, people like it because it's a 2-in-1, like, oh, it's a disinfectant, or not all of them, but some of them are manufactured to be disinfectants and cleaners. And then lastly, you have steam. Steam, which is probably the greenest method of disinfection out there. It is simply water, and it does a great job of not just killing and disinfecting, but of lifting stains in a lot of cases as well, and getting rid of dirt. The issue with steam is it's pretty hard to continuously carry water above boiling so that it can form steam. Not everybody wants to carry a portable water heater around with them. Okay. So next, the disinfecting needs. It's important to remember that, as we've seen it at JanPro, that disinfecting is in high demand right now. For example, we have this proprietary electrostatic spraying service called EnviroShield. We have a wait list for that. And I see it not going anywhere anytime soon as far as the demand is concerned. But one important thing I want to remind you is if you're going to start cleaning in the workplace, do not confuse disinfecting with cleaning. You need to, once again, remove that organic material first to be able to disinfect a surface afterwards. If you have no professional cleaning company, or if you yourself have not cleaned your office in a long time, and you call one of my sales reps out, the first thing you're going to notice is that, hey, we need to get this place cleaned before we can apply the disinfectant to the surfaces. So it's important that disinfecting does not replace traditional routine cleaning. And then another thing before you open is when you're doing that deep clean, to follow 2 important rules, and that's when you start to clean from the top down, because obviously if you're going to do your dusting, that dust is going to fall down, not up. And then if you're going to clean a room, start from the back of that room and work your way towards the exit or the front. Why? Because you don't want to walk over a surface you just cleaned and potentially reintroduce dirt to it. So top to bottom and then back to front. And then once all that's done, that's when you want to get down to the nitty-gritty and you want to disinfect. So that's a little bit about what I wanted to talk about. I know that we just started about 12 minutes ago. I'm already getting close to the end here, so I hope that's all right for me to take questions and answers this quickly. But before I formally wrap up my part, I do want to say a big thank you to all the frontline heroes in the cleaning industry. Some people have been getting some recognition by prominent figures, but as a representative of JanPro, I do want to say thank you to all of them and keep up the hard work. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sean. That was super helpful. We do have some questions that I think will just help, people to understand their specific situations and things like that. So just a reminder, if you're listening in, you can put your questions in the question box and we'll be sure to get to it. So the first question we have says, a number of places who have had someone test positive for coronavirus say they are getting a commercial grade deep clean. What exactly does that mean? And does it mean that space is safe?
Sure. So to get a commercial deep clean, if I understand the question correctly, what does it entail? Well, the first things first is to ensure that no one is present, that you call a company like JanPro or another professional cleaning company to come out, and they should be able to give you a scope of work for a viral outbreak or confirmed case of COVID outbreak like we have. We are going to make sure that obviously the crews that are out there are first and foremost protected themselves, wearing proper suits, PPE, mainly gloves, eyewear, and face mask. And then we are going to first make sure that every common touch area and every horizontal surface, and in some cases vertical surfaces, are free of that dirt and grime buildup. Once again, done by people who are professionally trained in wearing the proper protective equipment. And then the coming in with the disinfectant and disinfecting every square inch of that facility. When we disinfect with our EnviroShield system, for example, we are also starting from the top to the bottom and working our way from the back of the facility to the front, ensuring we don't cross over any surfaces. A lot of the materials we use, such as mops and microfiber cloths, they're probably only going to be used once. They're probably only going to be used once in those facilities, because once we're done with them, we do not want to reintroduce them and cross-contaminate. In fact, we'll most likely use multiple mop heads and multiple microfiber cloths just for 1,000 square feet, let's say, because we want to take every precaution to minimize cross-contamination. After everything is done and completed and the disinfectants have had their time, in our case, we want to make sure that our disinfectants are sitting for 10 minutes on a surface, maintaining that with the help of the surfactant, that wet look. Once again, 10 minutes to ensure that those surfaces are disinfected. After that, that's when we're going to say, okay, the place should be back in good shape, and ensure that the individual who did have the virus will not be back until they're confirmed as recovered.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Thank you for that. We have another question. Can you give some insight or quick tips on cleaning your home properly? Is it the same as the workplace?
Yeah. So, one of the things about cleaning your home, a lot of people are concerned about the strength or the VOCs, let's say, of the products they use at their house. I know that people see what I use and what my office team, what my franchise owners in my community use, and they're concerned that's going to be a bit too strong for the household. In reality, if you know what you're doing and you follow the instructions and the precautions, a lot of stuff we use in the workplace and the office place can be used at home. I know that in our house, we are big fans of SC Johnson's True Shot system. It actually works really well. It's a interchangeable cartridge system where we can use a disinfectant, a multi-purpose cleaner, and a glass cleaner, all from the same spray gun, for lack of a better way of saying it. And one thing I will say is, if you are, regardless of what product you're using, whether it's a Lysol disinfectant wipe, Pine Sol, whatnot, in following the instructions on the label, Coronavirus and COVID-19, you will not find too many articles on confirmations on how to kill it, simply because it is so new and research is still being done on it. But what I will say is, if you go to the CDC website, they have a awesome list of approved products to use to combat coronavirus, and that honestly is the first thing I would do, is reference that, what we call the N list on the CDC website, which are approved disinfectants and methods to reduce and eliminate the spread, help eliminate the spread of coronavirus.
Great, thanks so much for that. Another question we have, you mentioned after your initial clean, you have to maintain that cleanliness. What are some tips you have for maintaining cleanliness without completely re-cleaning every single day?
Sure. So the most important thing is the common touch areas where human skin is making contact. So your doorknobs, your telephones, your light switches, the restroom, pretty much every surface, hard surface on a restroom, and in the break area where people will frequently go in, the water cooler the dispenser button to get water from your water cooler, the drinking fountain button if you have to push down with your thumb on it to dispense water. These are all areas that should be cleaned as close to daily as possible. In reality, it should be cleaned daily. Now, things like vacuuming and mopping, if it's not a restroom floor, you may be fine getting away with vacuuming less frequently than daily. But ultimately, the true answer is, it comes down to the amount of people you have in your facility. The more people, the more frequent usage of those restrooms, the more trash being generated. That's ultimately what's going to drive how often you should clean. And then secondly, in this brand new normal, which I think we're all going to see, if not already experiencing, is to take the pulse of the comfort level of your staff. If you want to have a healthy workplace, get the input from your staff. Obviously, we don't want anyone to break the bank and hire, 2 times a day, 7 days a week cleaning company. Well, I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't mind. But in reality, it's just about making sure that those common touch areas are disinfected, making sure that you are gauging the pulse of your staff, and then also tell your staff to wash their hands. I'm not sure if anybody's invented this yet, but turn on a faucet and it plays a 20-second song, so it tells people, don't stop washing your hands until that song is over.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Thank you. Another question we have, I think piggybacking off of that one, they said, I understand foot traffic determines your cleaning cadence, but approximately how often should our space be professionally cleaned?
I can speak on behalf of JanPro of Raleigh, my company, and that is that we recommend that a professional cleaning company should be in a facility at least once a week. And I'm talking, your small office with 5 full-time employees and very few visitors. I recommend no less frequently than once a week. The most common service we provide tends to be our 3 times a week service. And in the medical, if you're in a high human contact business, so think of your salons, your daycares, your medical practices, and I'm not talking hospitals. I'm talking specialists' offices and dentist offices. I would recommend no less than 3 days a week. Now, does this mean that if a dentist office is only being cleaned once a week, that it shouldn't be visited by a patient? No, I'm not saying that at all. In fact, there are some great companies out there where they have awesome in-house cleaning protocols, usually because the office manager or owner of a company was in the cleaning industry at one time, and they know what it takes, and they can have their staff do it in-house. But obviously, that's professional cleaning being done in-house, kind of like a lot of businesses have in-house legal counsel and don't feel like they have to use an outside law agency. So professional cleaning should be done no less than once a week.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. Another question we have says, are you aware if companies are required to release their cleaning schedule to know how often their facility's being cleaned, or do you think this might be something that could come up given coronavirus?
So if I understand the question correctly, if I had a cleaning company cleaning my office, for example, and I approached them and say, hey, can I see your scope of work or your cleaning schedule and how you provide services to me? Is the question, can that be shared? Is that what the question is, just to make sure I'm understanding correctly?
So I think, hang on one second. So I think they're saying that, so if they get their space professionally cleaned, are they required as the business to disclose to the public that our facility is being cleaned X times a week, or that sort of thing? Are there any regulations on that that you're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of any, say, legal requirements for a business to disclose their cleaning schedule, but I will say this, that if I'm a customer and I ask someone what their cleaning protocols are for my safety as a customer, or if I'm an employee and I work at a place of business and I ask my employer, hey, how often is the cleaning company coming out? If I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to disclose that, I personally would feel like I'd better have a good reason, because that is something that I should not be afraid to share. If anything, a well-developed scope of work from a professional cleaning company should be more than what most people expect to see in a cleaning schedule. I know that our cleaning schedule is very detailed, and people are pretty impressed with what we do on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis.
Awesome, great, thank you for that. Another question we have is, can you provide some examples of cleaning solution you can make out of other products like bleach water, etc.?
So I'm glad that question was asked. The first thing is when it comes to cleaning, making your own cleaning compounds, first, do not ever mix multiple types of cleaners. I think I found that out the hard way when I was in college, when I decided to take a little bit of Windex and add it to my bleach when I was cleaning my toilet, thinking that would make my toilet seat shiny. No one got hurt, and I never did that again. So I would never, ever, ever take it upon myself to be an amateur chemist in the workplace. I will always follow the rules on the label for how to use a chemical properly, cleaning agent properly. Chemicals and cleaning products come in usually two fashions. First is ready to use, or RTU, where you buy it, you spray it, or you mop with it, it's good to go. The other form is concentrate. Now, if you're going to use concentrates, remember to, once again, follow the label on how much water you should add. Adding water, unless the label says otherwise, it should always be cold. Hot water does not make a difference when you're cleaning. I'm going to say that again. Unless it's steam, hot water is not going to make a difference. Chemistry is so advanced now that all the work is being done by those surfactants manufactured by the chemical manufacturer. So that's the first part. Secondly is to remember to use proper measuring devices to be accurate. Cap full and glug glug are not US measurements last I checked. So always ensure that if it says 1 ounce per gallon, you're using 1 ounce per gallon. 1.5 ounces per gallon, pretty hard to gauge on, I can't do it very well. That's increasing the strength of my chemical. That's what leads to sticky floors and sticky residue on surfaces if I'm over concentrating. Under concentrating or too much water, that just makes the product less effective, if even effective at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Thank you for that breakdown. That's super helpful, especially for people who, can't get a cleaning service right now or wanting to clean up their home as well, before they go back. So very helpful. We're not going to be our own chemists. We have a few questions about messaging now. So like as businesses are starting to open, they've got questions about how do I let my customers or my potential clients know that our facility is safe? Do you have any recommendations on, if our facility was professionally cleaned, how do we message that to the public? Or do you have examples of how we could do that?
Yeah, I would definitely talk to your chemical or your cleaning company to see what materials they have. I know, for example, at JanPro, we have various tools that our customers can take advantage of. We have, for example, if someone has us do a EnviroShield service, the electrostatic spraying, for example, to disinfect every square inch of a facility. We have these static cling stickers that indicate that this facility was professionally sprayed by JanPro. So anybody who comes in will see, ooh, they just had this application done. We've also have certificates that are signed and framed, or can be framed by the customer, that they can hang in their lobby, that shows that a professional cleaning company is present. So different companies have different methods in how they work with their customers and showing that they're being utilized and that they're taking care of their employees and their visitors. So yeah, I'd reach out to the professional cleaning company and saying, hey, I want something to show our customers that you are in here and you're doing what you're supposed to do and creating a better environment for everybody.
Awesome, thank you. Another question on messaging that we have says, in your professional opinion, do you think that it's better to put the message out there that our facility is safe, such as using those certificates, or should we keep it to ourselves unless asked by the public?
Oh, I think given the new normal, to be as proactive as possible and show that your facility is being cleaned without anyone asking is the best thing you could do. If I go to a restaurant and I see that this is 101%, I still to this day don't understand how restaurants get above 100%, but I've seen it. I'm like, ooh, that's great. I want to eat here more often. That's just the way my brain works. So, people will seek out and talk to others, especially online, about those great places that take care of their employees, that take care of their visitors, that show that, hey, we're disinfecting and cleaning daily. And one thing that I know is big for us is if you have the ability to have a cleaning company out during operating hours. I know that in some of our larger businesses, especially out in Research Triangle Park, where we have day crews and day porters, making sure they're properly uniformed with a Jan Pro shirt, for example, or whatever cleaning company shirt, that tells your visitors and your employees that, hey, here's a professional in here right now keeping this place up and keeping it healthy. So yeah, I mean, if you can do that, that would be awesome.
Awesome, thank you for that. Another question we have says, is it safe for consumers to visit a place after it says it's been cleaned, or what precautions should I take as an individual when visiting a business?
Sure. So first things first, you want to make sure that that certificate or sticker or whatever it is that shows that this place has been cleaned is recent. If somebody had a professional cleaning company 3 years ago and they kept that sticker up in their doorway for years and they haven't had anybody visit since, it's probably not too accurate of a sticker anymore. So, talk to the owners, talk to the employees of that company and saying, hey, when was the last time a cleaning company was here, and how often is it? Once again, the more open you are to discussing that truthfully and transparently, the more likely the public is going to trust you and want to work with you or provide business to you. Yeah, that's what I recommend there.
Awesome, thank you. Another question we have is more about, I think, like home cleaning. It says, can you talk a little more about the dwell time process and how I could apply this myself? I've never heard of this, just curious to learn more.
Yeah, absolutely. So one nice thing about disinfectants is that any disinfectant, whether it's household, whether it's hospital grade or commercial use, they all have on their label the required dwell time, or how long a surface must be wet to ensure that it is killing certain strains of virus and bacteria. Some labels are so well created and well detailed that they will have, okay, if you spray this on a surface, this is what it kills after 1 minute. This is what it kills after 5 minutes. And this is what it kills after 10 minutes. So 10 minutes is the best case scenario in the sense where pretty much all required forms of virus and bacteria, as long as the disinfectant is strong enough and produced correctly, will kill pretty much everything after 10 minutes that it can, up to 99%, let's say. Yeah, use that label. But yeah, that's the thing about the most eye-opening thing for me when I first came on JanPro was, I don't spray a surface and then wipe it immediately and kill everything. I didn't realize that dwell time was a big deal. So yeah, spraying that surface, making sure it's visibly wet for 10 minutes will ensure that you're doing a good job of keeping your home and your business safe.
That's awesome. Yeah, me personally, I don't think I knew that was a thing either. Just kind of spray it, wipe it down. I'm like, we're good to go. So very good to know. We have another question about, earlier you mentioned that bleach or Clorox can be very harmful and cause things to break down. So can you go over what your top cleaning, I guess, mixture would be if you're at home, or what your best product is to clean the home?
Yeah, absolutely. So at my house, I use a quaternary disinfectant. We use products. You can go to a janitorial supply store, for example. There's numerous. If you just go on Google and type in janitorial supply, ask for a effective quat. Now, the reason why I use a quat is because I'm comfortable with that strength and type of product. Quats are strong. They can, for lack of a better way of saying it, without proper PPE, if you use too much, it can make you sick. Now, I'm going to use my wife for the rest of it. If my wife is cleaning, one thing she loves are the peroxide-based cleaning agents. Why? Because the peroxide-based agents, although it takes a little bit more of it to do the same as a quaternary in what I've experienced as far as disinfection is concerned, the peroxide agent we use, it has enough of a disinfectant for her to feel comfortable with, and at the same time, enough of a surfactant to focus around dirt, to lift dirt and penetrate dirt. So it's like a magic bullet. She gets her cleaner and her disinfectant in one. She sprays the surface of a countertop, let's say, lets it sit for 5 minutes in the case of this dwell time, and then wipes down the surface, and it does a good job of lifting dirt. The thing is, though, is that she probably uses about 4 or 5 microfiber cloths every time she cleans the kitchen, for example, simply because she takes cross-contamination very seriously. If you aren't disinfecting, I will throw this out there. If you just want to get rid of dirt and grime, I'm going to suggest that you do not, in the case of most cleaners, spray the surface directly. Instead, spray the cloth directly. And then that way, you're not having to worry about dwell time to kill virus and bacteria. You're just wanting to lift and penetrate that dirt, and that is a great way of effectively using your product without overspraying. And then if you are going to do that, I will stress that you do want to come back with a disinfectant behind it if you are concerned about virus and bacteria.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Another quick question we have says, what are the questions that I should ask a cleaning company before possibly hiring them?
Oh, real good questions. So you've learned a lot today, and what I can say is you can throw out phrases like, what kind of surfactants do you guys use? And when you mop a floor, what do you guys mop it with? What kind of disinfectants do you use? No, but honestly, the most important question I would ask is, and this just goes in general, what makes you better than any other cleaning company that I should choose? And aside from those standard cookie cutter answers like price, or if you're not happy, I'll come back and fix it, really see how much effort and work has this company put in to really understanding the science behind cleaning, to understand that not all facilities are designed equally. Different employee counts, different visitor counts, different industry types. So for example, if I'm cleaning a lawyer's office and then I'm going across the street to clean a dentist's office, I should not be using the same material, the same equipment, the same chemicals. I should be using different products because they're two different industries that have two different cleaning needs, sets of cleaning needs. So understanding how not only is that cleaning company going to effectively clean, but effectively clean your business based on the industry you're in. So, very important to ask that. Also important to find out about where they source their products. If a professional company comes out and says, we will use your stuff. If you want us to use your stuff, we're comfortable to do that. We want to make you happy. No, that's not what I would say at all. Is appropriate. I want a professional cleaning company to know better than I would on what to clean my office and workplace. And then lastly, be aware of the phrase green cleaning. It is being thrown around a lot. Green cleaning, people like it because it makes people feel, harmony and kumbaya with the environment. And you're going to protect the planet when you clean my office. Well, if I truly am engaging in green cleaning, then am I really killing virus and bacteria because I don't want to harm the environment? Good disinfectants are not supposed to be green. In my opinion, a good disinfectant needs to kill the bacteria and virus that I expect this professional cleaning company to do. So just be wary and think critically about those buzzwords like green cleaning.
Okay, great. Thank you. We have another really good question. Beyond the frequency of cleaning, how have you seen the cleaning service industry change throughout COVID-19 in the past few weeks?
Yeah, so I was talking about EnviroShield, the proprietary JPro electrostatic spraying system we have. In Raleigh, we've been doing that for almost 10 years.
Mm.
I can tell you that for years, we'd go out to a potential customer or a current customer and say, hey, we can fully disinfect every square inch of your facility, eliminating 99.99% of virus and bacteria. And the response I used to get was, okay, that's great, but if you're out here cleaning 5 nights a week anyway and no one's getting sick, why do we need this service? It just doesn't seem necessary. Or, we'll hold on to the information. We'll get back to you if we ever want it. Now we have customers who are, hypothetic or proverbially beating down our front door saying, hey, I need the service yesterday. I need you to come in and disinfect everything now. So what we're seeing is a lot of clients as of today, the end of April, who are calling us and asking us to be on standby or to come out in the next few days to disinfect before they finally do reopen for business. Because it, once again, shows their staff, shows their customers, hey, we care about your health. It is our concern. And that's why we're doing this now, just to take proper precautions to make sure we can slow and prevent the spread of this infectious disease. So that's been a big change. Another change is frequency. We've had a lot of customers who would only be cleaned once a week now ask us to come in 3 and in some cases 5 or 7 days a week. And to scale back from that, I don't know when that'll happen or if it will happen at all in some businesses, but I'm just glad to be in a position where we have numerous teams of people who, and our franchise owners who are able to provide those increased frequency of services. So yeah, just in a nutshell, the cleaning industry, professional cleaning industry is getting a lot more recognition, and I'm just happy to be doing my part to help as many as I can.
Awesome, great, thank you. Yeah, things have been just changing so rapidly. It's really crazy to think how things have changed overnight in some cases.
Yeah.
So another question we have is, you mentioned the buzzword of green cleaning. Do you have tips for checking a product's contents and or trying to read through those buzzwords to make sure it's an effective product? So
sure.
I think they're also asking just kind of what are some other buzzwords like that green cleaning we should be aware of?
Ooh, well, I'll start out with the easy one, which is just focusing on green cleaning. So to say green cleaning is purely a buzzword, I'm honestly going to backtrack a little bit and say it's not purely a buzzword. Green is effective if it can be used for removing dirt and grime. So if I want to remove dirt and dust and build up on a floor and I can use a green product, great, I'm going to do that because I'm going to get rid of this organic compound material on my surface with something that's not very harmful to plant life and human life. Okay, great, let's do it. But if I want to disinfect, sanitize, etc., that word green can work against it because it's, once again, not fully, I'm not, something that's green should not kill, and bacteria and viruses need to be killed. So, when you research a product online, if it is Green Seal certified, which it does require EPA registration, the label of that product should have it. The website and product literature on that item should have it. And most importantly, the safety data sheet, which all chemical manufacturers are required to upload on their company website or for that specific product on that website, is always available. So if you want to use Clorox or Pine Sol or Windex and you get that from your local Walmart or Target, the label on those bottles are going to have what you need, as well as researching the product online. You should be able to type it in Clorox SDS and have every Clorox product SDS pop up. So that's always available. If you have a professional cleaning company coming to clean your office, or a residential cleaning company coming in to clean your home, you should be able to ask them what products they're using, and if they don't have it, be able to get the SDS on your own. Now, in my opinion, a good professional cleaning company will always be able to provide you their SDS. Secondly is if you're using a product that is a concentrate. So, for example, I need to mix 1 ounce per gallon for mop water in my mop solution, to make my mop solution, then, the product SDS should be online, and a secondary label. What's called a secondary label should also be available online. A secondary label, it's not going to be as detailed as an SDS, but it's basically going to mimic a product label that you would see on the back of your standard cleaner. So that shows not just what's in the product, but the proper instructions on how to use the product, as well as the proper dilution ratios. So I challenge all of you that say you've walked into an office or a home and the company that just got done cleaning it, the floors are all sticky. The floors are all sticky. Well, it sounds like someone didn't follow the rules on the secondary label. And you could become pretty dangerous if you know that yourself and then challenge your cleaning company about that. So I encourage it.
Awesome. Good tips. Good tips. Our final question that we have is, where do you see the cleaning industry as it moves forward, especially given coronavirus? It seems like things have really changed. What are your thoughts on the future of cleaning?
I know at Janpro, we're just getting prepared for that wave of demand, hoping to ride it as long as we can, hoping it doesn't break after it crests. So I can tell you that I see the commercial cleaning industry and anything human health related, just going up leaps and bounds in the next few months. I think the most important factor is not so much how it's going to contribute to the cleaning industry, but more so how it's going to contribute to human social decency. One of my operations managers at my company told me back when, I want to say this was early March, before everything shut down, that he went to a public sporting event and he saw a line of men waiting to use the sink in a public restroom at a sporting event. He said, in all his years using a public restroom, and I hope this doesn't weird or disgust anybody out, but men did not wash their hands very often after they'd use a restroom. And that just goes to show that cleanliness and self-hygiene is so top of mind for so many Americans now, and humans across the world. I'm going to assume that, is this going to be a benefit for the cleaning industry? Sure, but I think it's going to be a huge benefit for your Purells and your Dial and your Method, companies that manufacture hand soap and hand sanitizers. So I'm just excited because, in a few weeks or a few months, however long it takes for this pandemic to end, you're going to get a lot of people who are very cautious about hugging and high-fiving and fist bumping and embracing in general. But in a weird way, I think people are going to be cleaner than ever. And I'm not going to admit it, but maybe some people would be more comfortable shaking hands after this is all over.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sean, for all of your insight. I do want to ask, if people are interested in your services, what are the best ways for them to get in contact with you and your team to set up a consultation, or what do they need to do?
Sure. So my office is currently all working from home, but the main office line does have a prompt where if you are interested in receiving a quote for your place of business, remember we're commercial only, not residential, you can dial our phone number 919-460-1777 and follow the prompts, and it will lead you to being able to get a quote. Once again, 919-460-1777. Another way you can learn is simply by going on our website, and our website address is JanProRaleigh. That's JanPro Raleigh, all one word, no hyphens, no spaces, just janproraleigh.com. Another great website. We have stories and testimonials of our services on there, as well as simple forms you can fill out to request more information. And then lastly, if you're interested in becoming a franchise owner of JanPro, we can get you set up and have you become a professional cleaning company in the Raleigh-Durham region, as well as Greenville, North Carolina, and Fayetteville, North Carolina for my office. And once again, you can either dial that number, 919-460-1777, or visit janproraleigh.com, and we can help you get started. Being an independent business owner in the commercial cleaning industry, now more than ever, I think it would be important to ally with someone who knows how to properly clean and distinguish yourself from from any other bucket Bob or independent mom and pop cleaning company.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much again, Sean, and thank you for everyone for joining us. I just want to mention a few things quickly, that you can find all the recordings of our webinars and all information about upcoming webinars at bbbevents.org. We've also created a resource page to help share information about our accredited businesses with consumers so they can support the local economy at this time. To find out how you can help, visit bbbshoplocal.org. And then finally, I just want to mention the launch of our Brunch with BBB podcast, which you can search wherever you get your podcasts to listen to past episodes and be on the lookout for future ones as well. Thank you again for joining us, and a special thanks to you, Sean, for sharing your professional insight with us today.
Happy to do it.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye-bye.